All right, hello everyone. My name is Jessica Sundstrom. Welcome to the Kalamazoo Institute of Art's ArtBreak at Home. And today our topic is 3 artists who are in the West Michigan Area Show. The West Michigan Area Show will be open until September 12th. So if you have not had a chance to come and see it, you can. And another thing to think about if you come and see it is to please vote in the People's Choice Award. The artists that are accepted into the West Michigan Area Show have the chance to also receive an award from organizations, but they also have the chance to receive an award from the community. So you get to vote on the People's Choice Award if you have not yet done so. Some very quick KIA news. Please stay, well, first for the program, please stay on mute throughout the duration of the program. We do have a Q&A at the end, and you are welcome to type a question into the chat as it occurs to you throughout the program, and we will read it out loud at the end. Or you can unmute yourself at the end to ask your question or make a comment. So now some KIA news. First, we are now open on Thursdays, so you can come to the Kalamazoo Institute of Arts and see any of the exhibitions on display Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday from 12 to 4. We are mask friendly, so please feel welcome to wear your mask in our building. We have Art Hop this upcoming Friday, so the KIA will be open until 8 p.m., and there will be activities to participate in. For example, you could come and make a birthday card for the KIA because the KIA is turning 97. And on that note, in July, we will have 97-cent admission to the KIA, but you do have to pre-book your ticket in order to get that admission price. So you have to use our new website. And that is all that I have for KIA news, except to please keep an eye out on our website or our social media or our new, or in your sightlines and see other events that are coming up. We have another art break with other West Michigan Area Show artists in 2 weeks. We've got art detectives, all kinds of fun things happening. So today we are joined by Sandra Hansen, Carrie Okoro, and Stone Peng. We will get to hear from all 3 of them today. I will leave my camera on. You can feel free to turn your camera on if you would like, or you can not. And remember to please stay on mute. And without further ado, first we will be hearing from Sandra Hansen. So you should have co-host permission, so you should be able to share your screen.
Okay. And here it is, but I didn't get it to the right place. I forgot to get back to the beginning. Hold on. Sorry about that. There we go. So I'm Sandra Hansen, and I'm an international environmental process-oriented artist and papermaker. And process-oriented artist, that means that I'm not much good at planning ahead of time. I walk into my studio, I turn on the music, and I try not to think about anything. Maybe I have some ideas that I'm going to use some blue colors or maybe some particular materials, a fishing net or something else, but I really don't know what I'm doing. I just go in and I create my art, and a lot of it turns out really badly. And then I take that piece and I add it to something else, and I mix this together with that, and I rip this up, and I come up with something that I really like, hopefully, eventually. So I've always had sort of the theme of water. These are my first 2 paintings that I ever did. And even then, I was painting in water. And one of the things I was thinking about was that water is so exciting and interesting because it's always moving and stuff. And so I decided to paint water because I figured that if you could paint water, you could paint anything, and you could become a good artist. I also had two other plans when I started painting. I started painting when I was 50 because I had a business and the business fell apart. And so I really needed new direction. So I started painting. And I also wanted to be a traveling artist like Van Gogh or, some of these other famous adventure painters. So my adulthood, I've been traveling to about 30 different countries now, and most of them I've painted, I've gone to museums, I've taught classes, and I've done a lot of artist residencies. One of the places I've spent a lot of time is in India. I've been there 13 times. But in India, I did the same thing. I tended to paint a lot of the landscapes, and I included a lot of water in my landscapes. Um, I've also done a number of other themes, and some of them have been women in history and culture, women in the civil rights movement, and many of these still contained water. The Emmett Till Memorial Triptych is an example of this, and this is one of the few pieces I actually made tons and tons of sketches and drawings for and planned it. This is about 9.5 feet tall and 8 feet wide, and Mamie Till Bradley is in the center with her son Emmett, who has died because he whistled at a white woman in Monee, Alabama in 1955 in August. So you can see that there is water behind her, and there's water on the left and the right. So the, the panel on the left of has the witness to God and then witnesses who saw it. And the murderers are tossing Emmett into the water, into the Tallahatchie River. And that river flows over, it's very muddy and dark and brown, and it flows over to the top right of the center panel. And there are people who are being baptized, and they become the river of people that have been influenced by Emmett Till's death and became very active in the civil rights movement. On the left side, you see Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King in front of the river, which has now become lighter and bluer because of all the wonderful changes that did happen through the civil rights movement. One of my main themes has been our exquisite pollution. And in 2014, there were thousands and thousands of fish died in Lake Erie. And about a quarter of Lake Erie became absolutely dead. No fish, no plants could live, nothing was living. And the scientists said, what would happen if we can't stop this pollution? And then the whole river died. It would affect Lake Huron. It would affect the other lake at the other side. Everything is connected. And what would happen to our earth if we lost that whole river? And I became so upset and worried and angry. And I started studying about pollution and water, and became my thesis I graduated in 2016 with a master's at Kendall, and it became my master's thesis. This painting on the left is called Algae Bloom and is directly from the Lake Erie fish dying. Well, for a while I painted fish and such and pollution, but then plastic pollution, I was trying to make a different kind of painting for each type of pollution. And when it came to plastic pollution, I decided to make my art out of plastic bags. So these are all recycled plastic bags that my friends gave me that they'd gotten in stores. It's about 5 feet tall and about 4 feet wide for each panel, so it's pretty good size diptych because of the tremendous problem with the pollution. I started making very large art. My senior year, in the fall of my senior year, I took Papermaking 101, And to the horror of my painting teachers that I'd had for the last 6 years, I fell in love with paper and I switched over to making paper. The one on the left is called Geyer, and it was inspired by Hokusai's paper wave, which is in the bottom left corner there. And originally the paper was upside down and it was kind of going like this, like the wave. But I looked at it and thought, boy, is that boring. It's not nearly as exciting as Hokusai's. So I turned it upside down and it became an abstract. And I was painting with acrylic on it, and I got the paper too wet and it started to shred. And I took my scissors and I started ripping and cutting, and it became this particular piece of art, which actually is one of my most popular ones that people have seen. The one on the right is about the Ganges River, and it's about the Ganges River, Gangetic River dolphins. And at the bottom, you can see some blue dolphins and some beige dolphins. And the top part is the Ganges River. It's brown and it's swirling. There's plastics in it. There's trash there. And I spent a lot of time painting on the Ganges River when I was doing that earlier, and I got quite sick from the Ganges River. Well, the Gangetic river dolphins, there used to be thousands of them around Varanasi, and Benares. I mean, Varanasi or Benares, it's got different names. There were thousands of these Gangetic river dolphins just 50 years ago. But then they became so destroyed by pollution and by 50 dams in the river and a lot of other problems, irrigation, that they started dying out. And at the time I made this piece of art, there were 80 of them in Varanasi area. And there's only 3,500 now, going all the way from Nepal to Benares over to Bangladesh. It's only 3,500 left total, last counting. Well, I got the opportunity to have a show in China with my friends Lele and Bebe. That's Bebe on the left. Lele had to stay home and take care of the kids in America, so she didn't get to come. And then Iwan, who organized it. And it was an environmental show in the Inner Mongolia Art Museum. And it was very, very exciting, one of the most incredible shows. On the left is the Cuyahoga River, which it has caught fire 13 times. And in 1969, it was a pretty large fire. And I was a teenager at the time, and I was a young teenager. I was appalled by the fact that a river could catch fire. And so this paper is based on that, the Cuyahoga River. The center one is called Paper Wave, and I do happy art. There's really nothing about this that's particularly about pollution or anything else. And it was also inspired by Hokusai. You might be able to see it a bit more in this piece of art. And this became the property of the Inner Mongolia Art Museum. And you can see the gallery. I was so excited to have such a beautiful gallery and people in it. They also took us on a lot of cultural things. And so one of the events was the camel riding, which was a lot of fun. And we went to the desert, and then every night we had these huge course dinners with like 50 different plates would put on the table, and then the table would swing around and you'd get whatever you wanted, pick it off the plate. They had a ceremonial ram's head that you can see us cutting, and we got to watch musicians and artists, musicians and dancers. It was incredible. We had an entourage of about 20 people for all of this exciting things. But my real claim to fame is, in my opinion, is the Wollemi pine. I went to an artist residency in Australia, and to go to an artist residency, you normally make a proposal. Oops, this should not have gone on yet. So you have to make a proposal. And I read about the Wollemi pine. It was gone extinct, they thought, about 90 to 93 million years ago. And there's a picture of it up above the fossil. And nobody had ever seen it. But in 1994, David Noble and two other people were um, belayed down into a canyon. They were systematically uh, mapping the Wollemi pine forest. I mean, the Wollemi National Park. And they found these strange trees. They didn't know what they were. And David Noble took some of the leaves and went back to the Blue Mountain Botanical Garden. And it took him about 6 months to figure out that this was actually the Wollemi pine tree. And so I applied. It's very heavily guarded. You can't just go there and see this. There's about 100 trees. You can't just go and see them. And so I applied to the Blue Mountain Botanical Gardens that they should give me maybe 2 kilograms, about 4 pounds worth of leaves that I could try to make into paper. And since the Wollemi pine is part of the Acacia tree species, I thought it was very likely. And I had not heard that anybody else had ever done this. So as far as I know, I am the very first person to have ever made paper from the Wollemi pine. And that is one of the leaves on the left. I've already started cutting it up. And then you beat it, you cook it, you beat it, and it took a lot of cooking and a lot of beating, and I got paper pulp. This is my studio at the Big CI in Australia, and I had a huge piece of plastic, black plastic, 6 feet. It was about 12 feet long, and I could make all kinds of paper on it by just pouring the pulp. And the bottom, the fish, that is the very first piece of Wollemi pine tree paper that I made. And it's about that big. It's not really big, but I was practicing. And the leaves that are inside of it are from the Wollemi pine. And the three pieces, the triptych on the right, those were made with area plants. And a previous artist who was not an environmentalist had been using a blue tarp, and she just folded it up and tossed it in the woods. And so the owner at the Big CI asked me if I could use that, and I was more than excited because it was kind of decaying and it added a really interesting texture to the paper. There's blue jeans in there that I had ruined and decided to turn it into paper, and there's natural plant material, plastics, and the tarp are all in there, and some dye, blue dye. While I was in Australia, I went to Nick Cave exhibit in Sydney, which was pretty amazing. I'd gone all the way around the world to discover Nick Cave, who's from Detroit. In the middle, I went to the MONA, which is the Museum of Old and New Art. And it's an incredible museum. If you ever get to go to Tasmania, you should go see it. And I'm in a James Turrell exhibit, and you cannot see where the walls are. You can't see where the ceiling is. You can't see where the floor is. You're just walking on a path that's this kind of elevated above something, and you're just in lights. We also saw a lot of Aboriginal handprints that are probably 4,000 years old, and they're made by taking a straw and blowing ochre through the straw onto the hand, and then they remove the hand. The ochre then combines chemically with the rock, and you get handprints, which are amazing. We saw them out in the woods. We had an incredible camaraderie with our friends that we made. And in artist residence, you also make wonderful friends sometimes. So here's some of my more recent work. The one on the left is called Summer Rain. So there's water there, but it's made with little bamboo pieces. And the center one is just happy art. It's just moths. And the one on the right is called Dragon River. I think I made it in China. I think so. but I could have, I'm not sure. Maybe I made it at home and took it to China, but it did go to China and I still own that one. And the last thing I'm going to show you is the one that is at the Kalamazoo Institute of Art right now. It's called Transcendence. And this is very typical of some of my process-oriented art. I started off with some blue water paper, and then it didn't really work, and that round thing was on some other piece of paper that didn't really work, but I liked the round part, and I stuck it on there. And then I had some green paper that hadn't worked in another project, so I put the three together, and there was some strands of fishing net also that were from another thing, and then some oil pastels, and I just really love this piece of art, and I hope you enjoy it and go and see it over at the Kalamazoo Institute of Art. Now we have time for questions, I think, and
we do the questions at the end.
okay.
But thank you so much, Sandra. That was wonderful. So next we are going to hear from Stone, and I will just quickly remind you that you are on mute, so you'll need to unmute yourself. And I will pull up your presentation. So Stone Payne, everybody, we're happy to hear from the next artist from the West Michigan Area Show.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So thank you, Sandy, very impressive, very creative, the artwork. So my name is Stone Payne. I'm call myself a fine art photographer and minimalist photography in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Next one. Okay, I got a couple of the international and the national photography award. So if you want to see more, go to my website, stonepayne.com. You can see my detailed information over there. You know, 91, I graduated from the Western Michigan University. So that's a basic I come from, and my background is 30 years ago from Taiwan, came to USA and Western Michigan. And here I create my photography. I try to use my Chinese philosophy, life and the principle, beauty, less is more and empty is full, to create my image, my photos. So normally I just conclude my photography style is called tranquil and very simplicity and beauty. That's my kind of photos. Next one. I got a couple of you know, my award. Recently, I got the first place in the Mile Garden, you know, hold the competition. I got the first place there. And third place in the international competition, Aperture 2020. And second place, the third place, you know, the national competition and Tokyo, and also Black and White 2019, and second place in final category. You know, that's a couple that, and recently got the fourth place in the Kalamazoo Institute of the Art, you know, Western Michigan area show. And this year I have one photo in there, and hopefully you guys can stop by and check it out. Next one. I have a show, you know, in the USA, about 20 different states, you know, the art museum or art center or different galleries, over, you know, 50, 40 exhibition already. 2019, I published my first photography book, you know, called Zen Photography and My Dialogue. And this book, you know, already got the 4 international photography book award. And also I have a couple of publication, newspaper interview, that's a couple, at least over there. If you're interested, they are in my website and got the PDF file. You can open that, check it out. And next, this is my book. So, and my style is called the minimalist. So this is my, the typical style, my book. So if you interested in my book, can go to the Amazon, type in my name and they can show this book. You can get from there. Next one. Okay, the next couple slides I want to show, my photography. I just show, my style and because right now everybody have a cell phone and can get the easy images. So I just show my style, my images, that's it. And later you are interested, you can give me a question and give me the email. Okay, this is my typical, my favorite photo, just only one tree and stand on the snow bank and use the the negative space, anti-space, and just only tree and the snow band, that's it. And but that give you the kind of peaceful, very calm, immeasurable feeling. So normally I try to create my style just like that, very simple subject, but kind of give you that kind of feeling. And not colorful, not too complicated. Life is simple, too complicated. We try to make it simple. That's my style. Next one. Okay, this is a photo. I told you it's in Taiwan. When I visit my parents, I took this photo, waiting 4 hours, waiting the visitor cross the bridge. So waiting 4 hours, finally, get this shot. And this photo got a lot of, the national competition award for this one. Also show in the New York, the Soho Gallery, couple times. And this background have a kind of building, but, I waiting to that day is a cloudy day. So that's why people holding the umbrella and cross the bridge. So fortunately the background is a bit black to create my style, the empty space, that kind of stuff, and a little bit color in front. The next one, please. This photo I took in front across the Traverse City, in the pond. When I travel to there, I find a couple weeds in the lake. So I use the overexposure, get rid of the background. So just only leave a couple weeds in front and very simple design, but you can feel if you just only use the kind of, the empty space, negative space, that kind of concept, you create this image. So it's totally different compared to, the other photographer. So that's a kind of very simple, easy. Next, please. This is the same thing, I use the snow for my background. So leave the only couple of lines. This is 2017. This photo be selected in the Kalamazoo Institute of the Art, Western Michigan show. And that one, I got the first place, this photo. And very simple and just couple lines. But you just can, you will feel, that kind of give you that kind of calm, peaceful, simple, and immeasurable feeling. So that is about it. And find out this spot is kind of tough because normally, during the winter times, people stay home, nobody want to get out. But that's my time. If we got a bit snow, that's my photo day, just go out. Next, please. Okay, this use a different style, but you know, my title for this one is called the meditation, and show this photo also be put in the magazine cover for, you know, the one magazine, you know, they use this photo for their cover and show that the kind of Zen style meditation, and this sit there and waiting, you know, but I use that they have a little bit wind blow the leg. So I use that create my background. It's different, but kind of give you the same kind of a feeling. Very simple design, but just different feeling. Next, please. And this is my favorite photo. Very simple. This is shot in the Ottawa Lake, Holland, Michigan State Park. The background is snow only on top of the right, a little bit snow. You can see that. That's original photo. I didn't delete that. So the background is the heron stand on the ice, and in front of that, only tiny small open space, so they can get the reflection. That day only about 5 minutes, you know, the light come out. So I use the long lens, you know, get this photo, and about 800 feet away. And my title called this is my shadow, you know, because the end of our life, you know, only you and your shadow, that's about it. So, and this photo also showing in the Kalamazoo Nature Center right now. I have a speech, my photo show in there right now. So this is one of the photo in that show. So if you guys are interested, can go down the Kalamazoo Nature Center. I have 40 photos there right now. Next one, please. Okay, so this is a Chicago water tower. Normally, landmark photo, you know, just only show the, you know, the water tower. But, you know, I designed this one is use a tree in the front and to create different feeling. This original use a film, you know, the 20 years ago, I used a traditional film camera to get this shot, and in the dark room developing this photo. So, but give you different feeling, different the design for when you go to the big city, you want to take a photo, you know this different view. Okay, next one. And this is another style, you know, kind of Japanese, you know, style, a little bit sepia tone. And this shot in Taiwan, when I visit my parents, you know, with my friend, you know, show me around, you know, during that time, the boat just crossed the branch, and I use very high contrast to catch that feeling. And so you can see all my photography, I don't use Photoshop, you know, color and paste, that kind of style, only, you know, original. This one is a very high contrast to get the branch, you know, the little bit, you know, the color. Okay, next please. This photo shot in the Ludington State Park. You know, I use a very long exposure to get rid of the lake. So this is sometimes, you know, you don't have the perfect condition, but you got to create that feeling. So this one particular got to use, you know, maybe 10 steps, you know, to exposure about 20 seconds. Even that is a sunshine day. So I use 10 steps filter, get rid of the, you know, the wave, and so create this feeling, because that in front, you know, the boat is a pretty good shape, a good contrast, you know, so I like that feeling. So just, you know, just I visit the state park, you know, the Ludington. So get this one. Next, please. This is another Chicago photo. I shot the Chicago, a lot of, Chicago always is a neon light, night shot, but I use a seagull tail off, follow the post, to the city, Chicago. So my title for this one is called the Fly to My Utopia, just follow that. And the city very small, just far away, just like that. And a lot of people live in Chicago, like my photo, just like this design, very, it's different view, not just only night neon light. Next one, please. This is back to my basic use of snow, empty space, to create this photo. This photo got the 2014 NPR USA, the USA competition surprise called the long waiting. The host stand there, and because the background is snow, so you can tell, everything is white out, and the host stands there. He don't know how long will be there, the winter, how long will be, blessed. Next, please. This is the apple tree, unusual shot, the apple tree, and just little bit color, background still, I use sky, a little bit color to create this photo, very popular. And just show you my style. Next one. This shot in the Florida, and the ibis stand on the bamboo tree, and I use that branch to create this, photo. When I visit Orlando, the Disney World, you can find this is a good spot, Next one. This photo is shot in the white lake. The guy fishing just catch the fish. You can tell from the left-hand side a little bit, apartment there, because that day is very foggy day, very dense fog, blocks the background. And so I keep the front a little bit red and the right a little bit color to create this, my photo. Next one. Okay, this is another, white background and a little bit, subject, one horse in front. I prefer one, in my photo. So, give you the fence, give you draw you the direction in the front. One horse and background is the bomb. So that combine, that's my photo. Next one. Just, just if you hiking or just, in the trail, find a couple of pounds, a little bit darker, this is my photo, even that you can create a photo pretty good, but point is, you got to create the background, white background, to create that feeling. Next one, please. Okay, this is another called the fall. This photo also show in the magazine, some, put my photo in the article show in that very simple one, tiny small red bud, and just come out from the background is the wall and a little bit crack, and just like that. So you just pay attention surrounding your area. You can find a good spot to create your photography. Next one, please. Okay, this is another same thing. Use a white background, and the waves come out, show the power of the spring. Next one. This is my footprint. So just, when I visit some, the lake or beach, you cannot find spot. So I use my footprint to create my photo. Next one. Not much time. Okay, this is the same thing, empty space, leave the white background, the empty space, and next one, please. This photo, I spent most of the time, 5 continuous days, each day about 2 hours waiting the bird show up. When I find this spot, and I just waiting, that subject. So I waiting 5 continuous days, each day 2 hours, just only stand there waiting the bird. Finally, he show up and create this photo. So this photo, a lot of people like this one and enlarge, 40 by 60, huge, put in their living room. Next one, please. Okay, this is another, berry, but, I show that beauty. Okay, next one. This one to show is the bird on the left-hand side stand there waiting, called patient waiting the fish to show up, he can catch, but I contrast the waterfall, use, slow motion, show that power, and he stands there and patient. So give it a contrast, that feeling. Next one. This Grand Haven, the windstone, you can see that, but I show my style to see, that feeling. Next one, please. Same thing, Grand Haven. Next one. Okay, this is very simple, just only like that, but give you a different feeling, So when you, during the winter time, big snowstorm, I stay outside, get a picture just like this. If you want to go out, sometimes you can find a good spot. Next one. Very simple design, same thing, but right now this picture is use a blue sky, sand, and a little bit tree, that's it. Next one, please. This is a macro photography, shot is very tiny, small, I can call the name, man. But just say this is macro photography. And this got the first place in the garden competition. Next one, please. Grand Traverse Bay, and also show a couple of the competition, very calm, peaceful, but give you that feeling. Early morning, 7 o'clock, the lady paddle ball, So next one, please. I don't have time right now. So this is another photo, shows that feeling, I use white background, and one fisherman, he's oyster fisherman, try to go their location to, so the moment catches that, he just travel along, to create that feeling. Next one, please. This photo got the 2nd place in the International Photography Competition Award, called the music staff, just couple lines, couple the sparrow, on the cable lines, but very simple, easy, empty space, simple, simplicity, that style. Next one, please. Okay, that's different style, but I shot this photo is last year. I found this spot, went there a couple times, get this photo, but I just show previous always my white background, but this one is particular different, but I like this, design. Next one, please. Wow, I go over time.
The last slide.
Okay, last one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just to show you the different style, but sorry about that, too much time for the Carrie.
Thank you so much, Stone. And now we are going to hear from Carrie Okoro.
Yes, hi everybody. Thanks Stone and Sandy. Gorgeous work. Let me get my screen shared here. And let's go full screen. Can you see everything okay, Jessica?
Yes.
Great. So hi, I'm Carrie Okoro. This is the piece that I have in the West Michigan area show. The title is You Have Always Belonged to the Meadow. And it is a portrait of my daughter, who is an avid birder. You can see the field guide she has tucked in her arm there. This piece was done in March of this year, along with a companion piece. This is at the Art Museum member. And it is a portrait of my son done in front, this is in front of the Grand Rapids Art Museum. It was also done this spring. And this piece is on display right now at the Birmingham Bloomfield Arts Center as part of the Michigan Fine Arts Competition. So it's special for me because these companion pieces are sort of in companion shows this summer. I'm going to come back and talk about both of those pieces more at the end of my talk, but I thought I would give you a little background and talk a little bit about my practice first. This is from my artist statement. As an artist and filmmaker, I am inspired by deep connection to people, place, and landscape. My work explores themes of nature, memory, trauma, identity, and belonging. I often distort my compositions, introducing elements of abstraction and disarray. And this disruption of traditional modes of image making and storytelling is intended to question dominant narratives about beauty and worth, power and belonging, wellness and wholeness. And I'm trying to encourage viewers to consider alternative perspectives, or maybe see something in a different way than they have before. These are two self-portraits completed many years apart. The one on the left is a painting that was done when I was a foundation art student and at Ohio State. And the one on the right is a charcoal drawing I did this spring. In the painting on the left, I took a palette knife and I went back and scraped into the painting. You can kind of see the gestural lines in the hair, and also I had removed the figure's mouth. And my professor asked me why, because it had been there the day before. And I said, yeah, I don't know. It just felt more accurate that way. And so even from this early piece, I can see that impulse toward disrupting illusionistic space, and but not just to make an effect, but also in service to a narrative. So here I was trying to communicate something about my difficulty with speaking up for myself, or telling my own. I began experimenting with video early on. These are stills from a video titled Homunculus. And this would be an easy digital effect to achieve now, but at the time I had to hang reflective mylar sheets from the studio walls and light them to capture this dreamlike figure sort of moving through the space with fingers and appendages coming apart and going back together. And one of my professors said, you know, if you are interested in continuing to merge your art practice with film and video, you should probably think about checking out the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, which I did, and I was really impressed with their program, and I transferred. I ended up getting my bachelor's and master's of fine art from SAIC. Once I was in Chicago, I began using video more in my practice. I started to do sketches with all sorts of different subjects, but my grandma Ruthie, that's me with her on her lap, I was very close with her, and she was a favorite subject of mine because she was very unself-conscious in front of the camera. One thing I started to notice, though, as I was filming with her, she would have these little memory lapses and moments of confusion, and I was capturing in my footage early signs and symptoms of what would later be diagnosed as Alzheimer's disease. So I continued to film with her and with my family as we went through a really painful process of watching my grandmother deteriorate and trying to figure out what should be done. She wanted to stay in her home, but clearly she was not, she was becoming, you know, getting to the point where it wasn't safe for her to stay at home. That was very difficult, and I decided that I wanted to make a larger piece around this. So I took some of the earlier sketches and expanded them into an hour-long documentary. Something should be done about Grandma Ruthie. these are stills. You can see the still second to the right there was a note that she had written on like a scrap of Kleenex box, I think. But she would put these notes in windows around the house. And this one says, "No outside guests, thank you." And she was in her confusion, and as the dementia was progressing, she thought people were getting into her home, and we would have neighbors go over and check, but it was the disease process. So it was really sad to watch this process and to feel kind of helpless. I decided that I wanted to use poetic imagery to represent her memory loss and her disorientation, but I really wanted to make a story that would communicate with a broader audience. So I also incorporated interviews with family and caregivers. And this went on to be broadcast on PBS and go into educational distribution, where it was used in a lot of clinical settings. And that opened some doors for me in the film and television business. And I went on to work as a writer, an editor, and as a director. But the piece also really cemented my interest in memory and its relationship to identity. This is a triptych, a Polaroid triptych. These are enlargements from Polaroid photos. The title is "Failure to Fire." And I was using these rhythms, the visual rhythms, like the floorboards on the left, the shadows, reflected light, and I was creating these sort of disrupted rhythms from frame to frame. Something that shows up a lot in my work is that there's filmic effects or just sort of filmic language that I use in my 2D work. So sometimes I work in series, they're almost like frames from a film. The title here refers to when a pacemaker fails to trigger a heart to beat correctly. So also a kind of disrupted rhythm. I will sometimes use a lens or other technique to get a view of the world that I couldn't get any other way. In the photo on the left here, there's multiple panes of glass that are giving this kind of fragmented self-reflection, and then I drew that using a technique called blind contour. And I use that technique to get to capture the essence of something, but it's not necessarily a realistic portrayal. That was a process I used to create a series of paintings that I showed in Art Prize in 2017, titled "The Selfie Deconstructed." These were all based on loose contour drawings that were drawn from selfies. And this is another piece, Disturbing Too, that was developed in a similar way. This one was from a fashion photo. And here is an installation view of that work as part of a show at Fuller Art House. This was a group of my paintings that were also based on contour drawings. This piece, What Lies Beneath, is a digital work. It was also in that Fuller Art Show, and it will be in a show this summer titled Hear Us 2021 that is being put on by the Art as Healing Foundation. This is about, this piece deals with traumatic memory, and I've sort of put these strata or layers underneath the figure's foot that I think of as memories or experiences that form a foundation for us, but also can sometimes shift. So there are some that are kind of cool and maybe they're more settled. And then there's some that I think of almost as being like sparky or hot. Those are the red, orange, yellow pieces right at the bottom that can sometimes jump back up into our awareness. That echoes the colors in the dress, and there's this sash or tie that is kind of come undone, and it's creating this sort of unstable limb. My grandmother also experienced a lot of trauma when she was young, growing up very poor in Chicago, and it was fascinating for me, also really sad to see how some of those memories from so long ago were still present even through her memory loss. So this idea of what happens to us and how it writes on the skin of who we become is a real preoccupation for me. Pastel is another medium I like to use a lot because it's so malleable. I like the way you can kind of smear and smudge. Here, this piece is called Underwater. I've sort of smudged with my fingertips to kind of create bubbles, almost as if she's exhaling underwater. This is the piece that I had at the West Michigan area show last year. The title is She Wore Her Tiara to the Fire. And it was also based on a contour drawing. You can still see some of the lines in the chin and on the forehead. It was from a magazine photo, but when I did the work, I transposed the young model to an older or at least more experienced model with kind of wiser expression, which I really like how that works with the title, sort of the absurdity of the title. Here's the installation view at the KIA. This piece won the Signature Artists LLC Award, so I was excited about that. But this was really exciting. When the collector who purchased the piece came to pick it up from the KIA last year, she dressed as her art. So just really a highlight of my season there. And one last pastel, this is, the title is Coming Home to the Meadow. This was done from a view from the meadow garden at Meyer Gardens. Couple of other pieces, Mom Unfinished. The painting is finished. I think the title more refers to my relationship with my mom, who's still alive, thankfully, and how we keep evolving and growing, and she herself keeps evolving and growing. The next couple of works are on paper. This is River Edge Trail looking north, downtown in Grand Rapids. I love to use late afternoon light, golden hour, to sort of work quickly and let certain areas go abstract. Here, the reflections become almost an abstract pattern. This work is titled Solo. And this is goodbye to all that. This was done at the very end of 2020, beginning of 2021, and I was working quickly, just kind of glopping paint on. I just wanted to say, goodbye to all the hardship and the difficulty and the disruption of 2020, trying to get rhythm and movement and just say, we're moving on. And that brings me back to these companion pieces. In this one, my son has his museum member sticker on. I was working with some patterns in the positive and negative shapes of the trees and also the colors. The blues of his sweatshirt are kind of echoing the blue of the sky, the blues and the reflections, and the taupes and warmer tones are picking up on his t-shirt. I guess I was trying to sort of knit him or connect him to the scene. And this is something, these works are aspirational for me. I want everyone to feel like they are connected or members of art. Whoever, whether you're young or old, multicultural or multiracial like our family is, I want all kinds of people to feel like they belong to art and that they can see themselves reflected on the walls of art spaces. And similarly with this painting and natural spaces. So here, my daughter's clothing, the blue and green, is kind of echoing the greens of the foliage and the blue of the sky. The blue is picked up again in her glasses. And again, that feeling of trying to create the feeling of being one with the landscape, of all of us belonging to nature and nature belonging to us. So I'm trying to have that feeling of inclusiveness and belonging in my work. And I hope it comes through when you see these pieces. And I hope you get to come down to the KIA and see this piece. Thank you. I hope people have some questions or comments and can stick around.
Thank you so much, Carrie.
Yes.
And thank you so much to all of our artists. Really, such an incredible amount of talent. I personally have really enjoyed seeing all of the work. So yes, everybody, I know that we have gone a little bit over one, but this is the time when we can ask questions or share comments. I know that I had a question during Stone's presentation when I was thinking, is there no Photoshop involved? But then later you said there's no Photoshop. So my question has definitely been answered, or at least one of them. So everyone who is participating, you are welcome to unmute yourself to ask your question or share a comment, or you are welcome to type it into the chat, and I will read it out loud to our participants.
I had a quick question for Stone. Stone, I saw you had a Master of Science degree. Is there a relationship between the work that you're doing and what brought you to your interest in the photography that you're doing?
Actually, I'm the environmental science. My major is hydrogeology.
Okay.
I deal with most of the pollution stuff. But actually, my photography total is different. You know, that's an accident. You know, that's total not related to my degree, nothing. But just only, you know, I show my view of the nature landscaping. And I don't know why, you know, when I first 25 years ago, people like my photos and they start from there. That's about it. And I show my style and total different my degree. Thank you. You asking.
Yeah, it's interesting though because the three of us, with totally unplanned, but we do have a theme of sort of nature and observing. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys, you know, the Sandy have a different style, and Carrie, you same thing. You know, you guys look in stuff is very deep, and you know, not like me. You know, I just you know straightforward. You know, the landscaping photography, total different. Compare you guys create. You know, use a different concept and have a deep thinking. Because if you don't have a background, artist background, you cannot see through what you guys try to, you know, express. So total different style. But you know, I'm glad you know I can here to see you guys stuff and look what you guys created. You know the concept.
Sandra, I think that you actually are part of an environmental artists collective. Is that correct?
I'm not sure. I keep joining stuff, but I don't always follow up because I get too busy and don't pay attention to what's going on in the rest of the world. So I think I may belong to some. Which one are you thinking of?
I just think I felt like I remembered seeing that you were part of one that another artist who is actually speaking at the next ArtBreak, Tasuki Hakoyama, is a part of in terms of an environmental collective. So, yeah.
Well, I should be. I know I'm a part of WEED, which is Women's Environmental Artist something, but I just haven't been active in it.
Well, it seems like you've been active all over the world. So
yes, I try to have an international, more of an international flavor, and I really love doing residencies and travel, and so I've made friends all over the world that, and so I guess that's where my real true excitement is, but I also really feel strongly about the environment and the damages that we're doing to it, and how are we going to stop it?
Yeah. Well, if there are not questions, I will leave it open for another moment. But I do want to encourage everyone that is here to check out these three amazing artists. on your websites, on your social medias if you run them. Stone has published a book, as he mentioned. So please, Sandra Hansen, Carrie Okoro, and Stone Pang, please check out the wonderful things they're doing. Any exhibitions, such as the one at the Kalamazoo Nature Center and the one at the KIA, the West Michigan Area Show. And so, yeah, this has been such a delight, such a pleasure for me to see the different work that all of you are doing and the ways that you work. Melody wants to say, I just want to say that I really enjoyed all of the presentations, and thank you. So thank you, Melody. And
Thanks, Melody.
I think unless there's one last comment that any of our three artists want to share, that we can go ahead and say goodbye to everyone. So any last comments, any thoughts?
Just thanks to you, Jessica, and to the KIA. The KIA is amazing. It's an amazing institution. You guys put on incredible shows. Just really, I'm always so impressed when I come down there. Thank you.
Thank you.
I really appreciate giving the chance to talk about my art as well.
Yeah, also I appreciate that, the KIA, holding this very wonderful event, and apologize for the Carrie, I much time for you. I didn't know that, so.
No worries, Stone.
Do
Okay.
you have this recording linked anywhere that I can share it with people?
We do record them. They have to go through another process of being edited, and that happens from a different department than mine. So I don't have a timeline on that, unfortunately.
But you will send it to us when it's available?
Yes, I will.
Okay, great.
And just as one last KIA plug, since we mentioned the environment and how humans are affecting it and what can we do, do keep an eye out on the KIA for the fall. We will have a few shows that are concerned with the environment, and we are creating some programming in relation to what we can do on our scale in order to try to help. So Sandra, Carrie, Stone, thank you so very much for joining us and sharing your art with us. And thank you so much to our audience for joining us today. And everyone have a wonderful Tuesday.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Thank you.